So today I just wanted to take a look at the 1987 film, The Monster Squad. This is, I guess you could say, more of a horror comedy type film, definitely very enjoyable. It's definitely one of those that I would refer to as an ensemble cast, meaning you have a variety of monsters pulled together rather than just one straight type of monster. So you do have Gilman, Frankenstein's creature, the Wolfman, Dracula, and the Mummy. So the film does, I guess you could say, start up centuries prior, I guess you could say, in somewhat of a plot for Dracula to, I guess you could say, take over the world in simplest terms possible. But he is obviously foiled by Dr. Von Helsing. We then skip to the present day, and we've got a variety of young teenage boys. We view their I guess you could say, activities while they are at school for that day. They're obviously monster obsessed. They have something called the Monster Squad, or a monster club that they are in, and this also tends to be something that gets them into trouble during class because they are drawing pictures of monsters when they should be listening to the lesson. So interestingly enough, and I don't know if it's just like standard, information that's just, travels everywhere, but apparently in the opening scene where the young boy Horace is being picked on, you have a junior high kid which comes to his aid. He very much looks like a greaser. He's got the slicked hair, he's got the leather jacket, and I just wonder to myself, how in the world does leather jacket equal don't mess with this person? It's just a jacket. But okay, that's the persona. So somehow, I don't know why, this guy decides to hang out with this group of younger kids, and once he makes it to their treehouse, he decides to just stick around because it's very easy to just spy on the naked chick next door, who obviously just tends to undress in front of her bedroom window. So, who wouldn't stick around for that? But to me, it's just questionable why he chooses to hang around with them in the first place, but he does. And he pretty much just becomes part of their group. So, at some point in time, the lead character's mother, she visits an estate sale and happens to purchase the Diary of Von Helsing, which has the, I guess you could say, the spell that would send the monsters back to where they need to be. This obviously plays a part later in the film because it isn't long after that we do start seeing these monster sightings, and these creatures do start pulling together. Then they start looking for the book, and one of my favorite scenes in the book is the younger boy. He tells his father that there's a monster in his room, and the father just kind of superficially just tells all the monsters to get out. They don't belong there, yada yada. And he says, okay, are we good? Are there any other monsters? And the kid's like, there's one in the closet. So of course the dad opens the door, doesn't even bother looking in there, rambles on about whatnot, but we see the mummy that's actually just standing there in the closet, and I just think it's so hilarious that the father just carries on without even looking. But of course the creature gets out, nothing happens. Honestly, I mean, I guess it's more a sign of the time. People really don't think about it, but obviously once Dracula has been discovered, they're trying to send all of these creatures back to their, I guess you could say, their time period. And they need a virgin to recite this spell in German. But what kills me is the fact that these are all young boys. Any of them could be virgins, but they're looking for a girl. Their first attempt is a teenage girl, which is obviously a floozy in disguise. So they wind up going with the younger sister, Phoebe, which needs help with reciting the spell. So I don't know why traditionally, and like I said, I know the film was from a different time period. I just don't know if it was just a different way of thinking, but for some reason the focus just seemed to be on girls. But it is what it is. So one of the things I found humorous about this is the, I guess you could say, the term dork. When the two boys are speaking early on in the film, one of them mentions that in the 1940s film, the Wolfman had to wear pants, just so his junk wouldn't show. Later in the film, the term dork is also used as slang, I guess, for, basically just saying getting it in when they're asking the older sister if she's a virgin. And then of course you've got the creative use of the word nards, which I mean, I definitely would say is most everyone's favorite quotable from the film. Definitely interesting language usage. Obviously it's a kid's film though, but you know, they definitely did push the boundaries there a bit, which is definitely very characteristic of the 80s. You know, you didn't have like straight kids movies. There was definitely a gray area. Whereas nowadays everyone's just so focused on being safe and careful. You just have very, very bland language usage in kids' films for the most part. So one of the things I did forget to mention is that towards the beginning of the film, we do have Dracula's crypt. We see armadillos crawling around through the caverns. This is actually in reference to the 1931 Dracula film. That one also does feature armadillos crawling through a cavern. I don't know if they were just meant to symbolize very large rats, but yeah, I don't think Transylvania has armadillos, but yes, that was definitely in reference to the original film. Second reference is the plane in which Dracula happens to be traveling. The name on the plane reads Browning, which is in reference to director Todd Browning, the guy who directed the original 1931 Dracula. But that is all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.